different techniques used in climbing activities. Keep in mind, though, that it is very crucial to learn these skills from expert climbers before attempting them yourself. Today, Unique Idea Creator gives some technique for build up your climbing skills. A climber chooses equipment according to the slope and texture of the ice. For example, on flat ice, almost any good hiking or mountaineering boot will usually suffice, but for serious ice climbing, double plastic mountaineering boots or their stiff leather equivalent are usually used, which must be crampon compatible and stiff enough to support the climber and maintain ankle support. On short, low-angled slopes, one can use an ice axe to chop steps. For longer and steeper slopes or glacier travel, crampons are mandatory for a safe climb. Vertical ice climbing is done with crampons and ice axes, those specific to vertical ice generally being called technical ice axes or ice tools. Climbers kick their legs to engage the front points of the crampons in the ice, and then swing the axe into the ice above their heads. This technique is known as front pointing. The strength of the ice is often surprising. Even if the axe goes in only a centimeter or so, it is enough to pull up on. If a climber is leading, they will need to place ice screws as protection on the way up sea climbing system. Most mountaineers would only consider the last scenario true ice climbing. The less steep variations are routine aspects of winter mountaineering. Different types of ice climbing require different techniques to successfully climb. Rope systems. There are three primary rope systems used in ice climbing: single rope, double rope, and twin rope. The single rope system, which is suited for straight climbing routes, is the most commonly used rock climbing system in the world. Also often used in climbing is the double rope system, which is a more flexible system than the single rope system. Tying in. Tying in entails attaching the rope to the climbing harness. This technique is a must, particularly when leading a climb or belaying. A commonly used tie-in knot is the figure of 8 follow-through, but the bowline and thumb stopper knot is often preferred, since it is easier to untie when frozen. This technique should be done properly to ensure your safety when ice climbing. Belaying. In this climbing technique, either running belays or fixed belays are used. A running belay on ice is similar to a running belay on rock as well as snow. Leading. Leading refers to the act of leading a climb and thus requires a leader and a follower. This ice climbing technique entails putting protection while ascending. In doing so, leading is done in sections. The leader places the protection as he/she climbs until he/she reaches the top of a pitch. Abseiling. Also called rappelling, abseiling uses a fixed rope to descend. In distinction to being lowered, abseiling allows the climber to control his or her own speed and rate of descent. This technique may be used not only after a climb, but also when trying new climbing routes and when the climb can only be accessed from the top. Lowering. Lowering is one of the most common methods of getting down. A belayer at the base of the vertical wall ensures that the climber is lowered safely. This climbing technique is used when going down routes where there are short, steep walls. This is also used when you want to go down faster. These are the different techniques used in climbing activities. Keep in mind, though, that it is very crucial to learn these skills from expert climbers before attempting them yourself. Rock climbing is a sport in which participants climb up, down, or across natural rock formations or artificial rock walls. The goal is to reach the summit of a formation or the endpoint of a usually pre-defined route without falling. Professional rock climbing competitions have the objectives of either completing the route in the quickest possible time or attaining the farthest point on an increasingly difficult route. Due to the length of time and extended endurance required, and because accidents are most likely to happen on the descent, rock climbers do not usually climb back down the route, or downclimb, especially on the larger multiple pitch Class 3 of or multi-day grade of V climbs. Rock climbing is a physically and mentally demanding sport, one that often tests a climber's strength, endurance, agility and balance along with mental control. It can be a dangerous activity, and knowledge of proper climbing techniques and use of specialized climbing equipment is crucial for the safe completion of routes. Because of the wide range and variety of rock formations around the world, rock climbing has been separated into several different styles and sub-disciplines, such as scrambling, another activity involving the scaling of hills and similar formations, differentiated by rock climbing's sustained use of hands to support the climber's weight as well as to provide balance. Different types of rock require different techniques to successfully climb. Crack climbing. Crack climbing is a type of rock climbing that ascends cracks and uses specialized climbing techniques. Cracks used in climbing vary in size from the width of a finger to those that fit an entire body. Face climbing. Face climbing is a type of climbing where climbers use features and irregularities in the rock, such as finger pockets and edges, to ascend a vertical rock face. Slab climbing. Slab climbing is a type of rock climbing where the rock face is at an angle of less steep than vertical. It is characterized by balance minus and friction dependent moves on very small holds. Simul climbing. When two climbers move at the same time, the pseudo-lead climber places gear that the pseudo-follower collects. When the leader runs low on gear, they construct a belly station where the follower can join them to exchange gear. Grading systems. Grade climbing and grade bouldering. Climbing communities in many countries and regions have developed their own rating systems for routes. Ratings, or grades, record and communicate consensus appraisals of difficulty. Systems of ratings are inherently subjective in nature, and variation of difficulty can be seen between two climbs of the same grade. Vandalism. The most significant form of vandalism, directly attributable to rock climbers, is the alteration of the climbing surface to render it more climber-friendly. Thank you for watching our video. Please subscribe this channel and don't forget to comment.